Young Real. Welcome to Stay on TV. I'm happy that I'm speaking with you today. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm blessed. And yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So yeah, let's
Yeah.
just jump right into it. I've been following you a while on Instagram, and I'm happy
Mhm.
we're getting to finally speak now. I think you're an amazing artist. You're
Thank
dope.
you.
What really got me to like keep on like looking at your work is your tea time, your tea
Mhm.
talk. So tell me a little bit about that because I see you working on Instagram a lot.
Yeah. So I've been kind of like trying to figure out the whole social media thing because that's not really my expertise per se. Um, but just figuring out how to make it work for myself. And I like to give people, like showcase my talents in a lot of different ways. And a lot of people don't even know that I'm a producer as well and that I make my own beats with my music. So it was just a way that I figured out, like, people's attention span is kind of short nowadays. So let me just give them something where they can really hear the bars, hear the beats, and
Yeah.
just like the cohesive sound in a short span of time, but it just be fire and people, have something that'll grab people's attention and keep them coming back, every week.
That's crazy because I feel like you're doing great with social media. Like I think you're
Thank you.
doing good right now. And IG is changing. I see with like the
Mhm.
algorithm and everything. And how are you like keeping up with all of that? Because we're just getting out of a pandemic and you're an
Mhm.
artist. Like how are you maintaining keeping your being sane and an
Yeah.
artist?
It's definitely tough. It's definitely tough. But what it is for me is that, it's a blessing in itself that I'm able to express myself the way that I do, with my words or with my music, period. And it's just like that's kind of how I kept saying is just to keep making music, even though, we can't travel or couldn't travel, for a long time and do shows and get to touch the fans like physically and things like that. It did put a damper on things a little bit, and it did, it was messing with my mood a little bit because I'm like, man, that's kind of my favorite part of being an artist is to get to move around and get to see different parts of the world and get to see people that support you and, just be eye to eye with those people like that. But when you're not able to do that, it kind of gets lonely.
Right.
Kind of get lonely.
Yeah.
But like the way to keep my sanity is really just to keep making music, keep working, and just just be prepared for when things open back up. Just know that it's gonna open back up real fast and real. It's just gonna be a lot.
Yeah. And I'm happy it's finally opening back up. And you're right now, I'm in New York, you're in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, okay, so just give people a background. Where are you from?
So I'm from Buffalo, New York. I was born in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And this is a crazy story. And this I always tell people, like, I feel like I was just like I tell my mom all the time she hit the jackpot because, she was in a casino when I was born. You know what I'm saying? And it was just
What?
like I was
Oh
born
wow.
premature. Yeah, yeah. So it was a crazy the whole ordeal, like what she told me happened and everything like that was just crazy, like
Mhm.
so I was born in a whole different state. I was born in New Jersey, but we weren't from there. My mom was on vacation at the time and I came premature. So that was just unexpected. Like, yo, I'm here. And
Yeah.
then, from there, um, it was some complications from premature birth and things like that. But I'm from Buffalo, New York. That's where I was raised at, So growing up there, I mean, it's like you're pretty much like, so I don't know if a lot of people know I think it's called the Iron Belt or something like that, or the Rust Belt or something like that. But it's like Cleveland and Philly and Buffalo and like, all of these cities that were kind of surrounding like the industrial area around the Great Lakes and
Okay.
things like that. So that's what Buffalo is like, imagine a city like during those times when the Erie Canal was like bussing. Imagine
Mhm.
Buffalo being like New York City before New York City was. But now it's not like that anymore. So growing up there, kind of you get tough skin. You get, it's kind of the music community isn't really big or anything like that at
Yeah.
all. So it's kind of hard to really make it from that city, and that's why I'm in Atlanta right now because this is like the music mecca.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
how did Buffalo shape you like as a person and
Mhm.
as an artist before you moved to Atlanta?
So I grew up in the church a lot, surrounded by gospel music a lot and a lot of just soulful kind of culture. And Buffalo is like that. Buffalo people in New York State, like, like New Yorkers, I'm pretty sure you probably heard this before, but like they say people from Buffalo seem mad country. And it's because like we got like a
Yeah.
slower pace. We got like a slower pace and we got a little accent or whatever, but it's kind of like it's a real soulful place and it has a lot of culture there, believe it or not, that comes from like our black roots.
Mhm.
And
So it was a mixed
like,
environment, like black and
yeah,
white. Okay, Spanish.
yeah. So for me specifically, I grew up in like half and half. So like I got to see kind of the best of both worlds, from the suburban lifestyle to the inner city lifestyle, which is a blessing, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But so for me, like the culture, I got to see a lot of different cultures kind of mesh and create me and mold me to who I am. So like it was like growing up in a suburban environment, but being raised by people who come from the complete opposite is like it's like the perfect mix, because I got the morals and the principles of the streets, but I also got a different outlook on things where it's like maybe other kids from the inner city didn't have just maybe they didn't get to see the things that I got to see. They didn't get to like experience the kind of things that I got to experience. And it was just different.
And you said you're a producer as well. Which one came first, and how did this all start after like you attending church?
So growing up in church, my most fondest memories are like with my grandmother in church, and she was in the choir and things like that. So she was always singing. I'll be over her house pretty much every weekend, like year round. And then in the summer it's every day. So like I was staying with my grandma a lot of spending a lot of time with her. My parents are big music fans as well. My mom is a big Prince fan, so and Michael Jackson and things like that. So like when I was a kid, the things that I was listening to weren't necessarily all the stuff that was popping at the time. You know what I'm saying? The only time I really listened to what was popping was when I got a little bit older and I started realizing what was going on with the music, thing like that. Like Lil Bow Wow was like an inspiration to me. My sister was making I remember Bow Wow came to Buffalo, I think on a Scream tour. And
I remember that. I went to the Scream tour.
She was making, her and my god sister were like, they're like a few years older than me, so they were like Bow Wow like super fans. They were in that same age group, and so like they were making the t-shirts with like spray paint Bow Wow his name on the t-shirts and things like that, and they was making all this tour merch, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like he got these kids going crazy, and it was something that I really looked up to at an early age.
And as far as your sound, you spent time in Buffalo, and now you've been in Atlanta for how long?
It's been like a year since I've been actually staying here.
All right. Yeah. So new. Okay. Pandemic area. Okay. So you really you really now are getting to like experience the Atlanta life, because it was Atlanta, did it ever shut down? No,
man.
I don't think so.
We can put some quotations around shut down.
Oh yeah. Well, be safe out there. Be safe out there. So how would you describe your sound? Like, do you feel like you have a New York sound? Do you feel like, is it any like regional sound you carry?
For me, like I just see a lot of my musical influences like come out at different moments in my music. So like I have a very versatile sound. So one day I might wake up and make a straight just hip hop, nothing but bars, boom bap type of song. But then later on that same day, I might be like, I want to make a gospel song, and or not even make a song. I just be playing gospel music, and what I'm saying, it just goes from one extreme to the other. And anywhere in between pop, R&B, and everything like that. I've done rock songs before that I'm waiting for people to hear and stuff. So it's wow. I got a lot of different like range when it comes to my genres with music. But I feel like it's kind of hard to describe my sound. I would just say like you get a wide array of sounds when you kind of listen to Young World, and it's really like worldly music. Like it's not like catered to a specific demographic, catered to a specific like certain ear or certain listener. It's kind of like any type of music that you like, there's some Young World for you somewhere.
Okay. I think that's a good response to that. Do you ever feel like, since you're an artist, like say if you release a song and they like that particular sound from you, do you ever feel like your fans would just like put you in a box and be just wanting that type of sound, or no?
Well, see, that's the crazy part about it, is because like, so with me being signed to BSF and things like that, the whole culture surrounded by the Griselda movement and Benny the Butcher, Westside Gun, Conway, shout out to them, by the way. The whole movement that they created is kind of like super heavy hip hop fans. Like these are like hip hop heads. So it's like, while I do have a wider range of music, there is like, it's kind of like the people that's co-signing me are like these people, type of tone. You know what I'm saying? They got a specific sound that like, this crowd wants to hear that. So, but luckily for me, I'm blessed with enough talent to be able to cross over into a lot of different things. So, and it's not sounding like I'm reaching, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times you'll hear people do things because they trying different things, or maybe they're trying to like fit in with a certain group.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you can hear where they're trying that. And for me, it's just like, I started off rapping. I'm a rapper, saying like in the core, I'm just a straight rapper. Like, you know what I'm saying? Lyricism is what I do. I started off writing poetry. So that's kind of where my music, writing started. And so from there, like just lyrics it got to be on point, whether it's an R&B song. I got bars in my R&B song. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So let's jump forward to, and then we're going to jump back. When did like BSF came into the movement, and was it before Empire? Because I know you're signed as well. Give me a rundown on that.
So I signed with BSF maybe a year and a half ago. This was like a year. I think this was when I first moved down to Atlanta, is when I actually signed the paperwork. But I was with BSF and running around and things like that.
How did he get your attention? Like how did he? Wow, because you were in Buffalo at that time, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're all from the same hometown, and Benny been doing his thing since he was like 16, and so like I would say as long as I've been rapping, but I was a little kid 16 years ago. But it's like, so we're all from the same hometown, and Benny is like really like a hometown legend. Benny, Conway, and Westside Gun. But City Boy is his right hand man. That's his best friend since I don't even know how long, and he's also the CEO, of the Black Soprano Family, the label. So basically, how that came to be was, they saw me. I was a young entrepreneur, and when I was 20, 21 years old, I had already my own building with my own studio, and I was running an actual business, like a studio in Buffalo. And this is how I was like making my money off of music, because at the time I wasn't really like with my own music, like as far as selling records, I wasn't really making money or anything like that. So I had to figure out a way to like make some bread with my talents. And I have a really extensive background in engineering. That's kind of really how I got my foot in the game, was coming up under an engineer, like a legendary engineer from Buffalo, named Kid Cole. And so I had my own studio, and I would have like a lot of artists coming through. Almost every artist in Buffalo has been through my studio and things like that. So one day, a music video friend of mine, a videographer friend of mine, I should say, named Denzel, shout out to him, and Top Creative, man. He called me. He's like, yo, I need a space because I'm shooting a video for Conway. And Conway is, that's the whole clique, the Griselda movement. So Conway came to my studio because, they needed to shoot a video and they needed like a grungy look. And my studio was like, it was like a warehouse kind of environment. Like the aesthetic was like a warehouse looking thing. So they needed that for the video, and they came to shoot a video. And while they were at the video, City Boy was there. And I had just finished up a session that I was doing with another artist who happened to be signed to BSF at the time as well. His name Love Boat. And so he stuck around. He's like, yo, Conway coming through. I'm just gonna stick around and chill, you know what I'm saying, after a session or whatever. So that's what we did. And City Boy pulled up. And I was just, setting the vibe, just trying to have some ambient music or whatever. And I was playing my music though. Just in the background music, so people don't just be silence and people, all you hear is people chatting or whatever. So somewhere along that night, City Boy was like, yo, who music is this? And he was looking for whoever music this was, and everybody was like, this Young World. He's like, bro, who is Young World? And he was like, bro, you at Young World Studio right now. So he figured out who it was. He figured out who it was, and he like, yo, this is Young World. And he saw me, and I'm just some little, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't a kid. I was like 20 years old. Yeah. Okay. So he put me to the side. He's like, yo, like, what you got going on? What's your situation? I'm like, what you mean? He like, what's your team like? You got anything going on? Any situation with music? I'm like, honestly, bro, my team consists of me, my parents, and my lawyer right now. That's about it. And so I didn't really have necessarily a situation that he was referring to. And he was like, yo, I want to, do one of these, like, come with me. And I want to show you some things. So Benny was just starting his Plugs I Met tour, which is like, it was a huge tour for him in his career, a huge like milestone for him to get that tour. And so they brought me on tour. I was going back and forth between Buffalo and Atlanta there, just trying to figure it out as a young artist. Like I knew Atlanta was the Mecca. So I'm like, I just need to be there. And I would come here, chill for a couple of days or a week or so, and then go back to Buffalo. Yeah. And he like, what you going to Atlanta for? I'm like, I don't really know. I'm just trying to figure it out, bro. So I was in Atlanta, and then he called me and he's like, yo, come on tour with us. And he flew me out to Florida, and I went on the whole tour with him. Ooh. And this was before any paperwork or anything like that.
So what is the best advice you would say Benny has gave you since being with him?
So far, I mean, Benny always dropping gems. And a lot of times I'm a firm believer in like, I'm a learner. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm kind of soft spoken. Like when I'm in a room full of people, I don't really say much. And a lot of people be like, how do you do that as an artist? Like, bro, like you got to be, and some people say to my disadvantage, that is, as being like kind of soft spoken and not really, I would say like a people person really like that. But I like to watch and kind of learn a lot of things. And from what I've learned from Benny so far has been, really like one of the biggest things is relationships and networking and how to be that people person and how important it is, but also being yourself. Like you don't want to reach and be seen like you like in everybody's face, like you just always there, like, yo, this dude always talking about this, I'm talking about that. Like you don't want to just be that guy, that one guy who's just always chatting. So really learning how to be authentic, but at the same time, speaking up when you need to and building relationships with people who you need to, and it actually mattering, what I'm saying? Not just being friends with people just to be friends, what I'm saying? And really like, and also learning like leverage. You got to know leverage in this business and know what you bring to the table and always have something to offer, because it puts you in situations a lot of times where like you wouldn't otherwise be in. If you had nothing to offer the other person, it would just seem like you just being elite. If you ain't been around, cause I done been around for you niggas. No love for the good hearted. Rich young and I'm a hood target. Nowadays it's just pill poppers and there's no room for the good artists. Look alive and I feel alive.
And is On My Way your first single with BSF?
Yeah. So that was the first single with BSF. Yeah. The video came about like a week or two after I moved to Atlanta. So I was in Buffalo after the tour and everything, and the pandemic hit. It was kind of like slow, and it was like, what I'm saying, it was kind of hard to figure out like what we really doing, because at the time when I first got with BSF, it was like a lot. Like we was on tour, we was moving, we was shaking. I was on Shade 45 freestyling and stuff like that, like that. But then pandemic came, and it's like everything just kind of slowed back down.
The tour stopped once the pandemic hit, or was
so
it
we
done?
we were on another tour. So we finished the Plugs I Met tour, and then Griselda was on the What Was Shinga new tour, because they had just dropped a collaborative project together. And we were on that tour, and maybe like a few shows into that, the pandemic hit and everything kind of shut down. So I was back in Buffalo, not really, I won't say not doing nothing, but I was just cooking, you know what I'm saying? But they lived in Atlanta. They live in Atlanta. They've been living in Atlanta, but I wasn't necessarily out here yet. So City Boy would call me and be like, yo, what you doing? I'm like, bro, I'm just working. He like, man, you need to be around. This goes back to learning, knowing that you got to be around to be in these rooms, to be in these conversations. And it's kind of like an out of sight, out of mind situation where like, if you're not around like that, people don't necessarily forget about you, but it's like, you're just not in the conversation a lot of the time. So he like, yo, you need to get to Atlanta. Like, I don't know what you're doing, what you got going on in Buffalo, but whatever you is doing, it ain't what you're supposed to be doing. So,
and you can cook in Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. You could cook in Atlanta. You ain't, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't run my studio or anything like that because the pandemic. So it was like, I'm just in my bedroom cooking. Like back to the basics. He like, man, we got a bedroom for you here in Atlanta at the house. So he brought me out to Atlanta, and I've been living out here ever since. Now I got my own place and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, but it's like before, we call it the BSF house, or the Making a Band house, where it's just like everybody that's like BSF, gang, everybody. We all just, it's like a hub.
And how do you know like when a record is going to be a hit? Because that's not your latest single. No, Celebrity is.
Yeah, so Celebrity was just like I just need to put some content out, man.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Would you consider that a single? And is that going to be on your album?
I don't think it's gonna be on the album. I think it's I consider it just content at this point. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing really behind it, no marketing behind it, nothing. It was just like, yo, I'm gonna watch this video.
Okay, but, how about On My Way though?
On My Way, yeah. So realistically, On My Way is the first or like the most recent official release that I've had, and it's been over a year now. But really, I feel like, some people might be like, bro, you wild, and you ain't put out no music in a year. But realistically, I see that being in like a good kind of position for me, because it's kind of like I've been cooking up just so crazy and like making certain moves where it's like my next release is gonna be like so next level that it's gonna seem like yo, I can see why you were just laying low for a second.
All right, so what would you say is like your biggest accomplishment to date? Because I know you're signed with Empire now, and that's major. Mm-hmm. So what you think?
Sheesh, that's a great question right there. I never even got that question before.
It's a lot.
That's tough. Okay, so I would say this. I would say at the moment, I would probably say that I'm most proud of getting my own place off of doing something that I love. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like working like a little side jobs here and there where I have to like, you know what I'm saying, scrape up money to pay these bills. Like when I, you know what I'm saying, I used to pay for like my car note, my car insurance off of my, you know, a job as a waiter at this nursing home. So like, and music wasn't making me any money. So like to be able to say that, you know what I'm saying, at a young 24 years old, you know what I'm saying, a young Black man in America, being able to make a living off of my own talents, that's truly a blessing that a lot of people don't get. And so I would say that's my biggest accomplishment right now, is just being able to make a living for real off of what I love to do. So anything that comes with that, like that's a lot of times that's what people ask for. Like that's really, people don't necessarily need to be rich, or like, I don't need to be the richest artist ever. I really strive for impact and to be able to make a living off of what I love to do. So I don't feel like I'm working or anything like that. So I feel like that's my biggest accomplishment so far. It's like that financial independence.
What keeps you going? What keeps you going at this? What's your motivation?
So I'm the type of person, like I get motivation from everything. Like I get motivation just waking up, the fact that I'm here. Like that motivates me right there, because you know what I'm saying, you're here for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So and also on top of that, just knowing like my background and knowing where I come from and where like knowing my family history for real. You know what I'm saying? Like I know what, like, you know, what other people in my family have been through. And I'm truly one of the people, you know what I'm saying? Like who gets to say that they're one of the people that take their family, you know what I'm saying, out of a lot of situations that they've been kind of accustomed to at this point, or like, you know what I'm saying, a lot of hurt, a lot of struggle that my family has been through. I'm kind of a person that has the opportunity to really change the narrative, you know what I'm saying, for my entire family line. So I feel that's a lot of motivation right there. And also just have an impact on people that don't even know me from a can of paint, and they can relate to my lyrics or relate to, because all I'm doing is just telling my experiences. So it feels good to have, you know, other hundreds of thousands or millions of people that can relate. You know what I'm
And
saying?
I
So
think that's what's so important. You're telling your experiences and you're speaking your truth. And we're in an age where not in an age, but we're in a time like basically where a lot of rappers are just, you know, doing it either because of clout or doing it because, you know, or just because their friends is doing it, or doing it because another rapper is doing it and making money.
yeah,
And like you said, on My Way nowadays, it's just pill poppers and it's no
yeah.
room for good artists. How do you feel about today's music and hip hop?
It's tough. It's tough. You know, we got some people that, and the crazy part about it too, and I'll be saying this, like, I know there's a lot of artists that are popping out that have the talent and the ability to do what I would like them to do, but like for whatever reason, like you just listed a bunch of reasons why people choose not to rap about certain things, because they don't feel like it's popular or it's going to sell records and things like that. So I just don't like the fabrication part of it, but I guess it's the entertainment industry and it's kind of always been like that. As long as you make it look good and sound good, it kind of like, you know what I'm saying? If you polish it up, make it look shiny, people going to buy it, I guess. But at the same time, you got to think about like people. I feel like we need to take responsibility once we start to gain like certain influence and a good amount of fan base, where it's like people who actually look up to us and want to be like us. Everything that we say can influence someone to do or not to do anything. So it's like being aware of that responsibility is super important. And I feel like we kind of lack that, especially with the young artists in our generation. I mean, we got some older people who still relevant, that they get it, you know, they understand it. But what about the young people? We kind of lead in the next charge, the next wave. And it's important that we kind of like be like the spokespeople for a lot of people that's gonna come after us, because we gotta set the bar at a certain point. And this is just me. I don't know if people going like, you know, artists probably be like, bro, what you talking about, man? Just make good music. But at the same time, like good music, like music is what influences the world.
You're an artist. Are you a songwriter?
Yeah.
Yeah, songwriter, and you video direct too. You
Yeah.
edit. I see you have so much creativity with your music. Is it changing now since you have a deal with Empire?
I think even more so, it's just a matter of like, I think it's a matter of like kind of just tailoring those crafts to get as good as possible at all of those things, because realistically, like a lot of people don't even know like some of my credits as far as producing. Like I made a post the other day about like reaching a 1.3 million streams this year, but it was like I didn't even say a word on those songs. Like those are all songs that I produced. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I noticed that in your caption because I was
yeah,
looking for you to like save the songs too.
yeah,
Wow, that's crazy. That's all songs you produce, and
yeah.
a
Those
lot.
are songs I
Two of them
produce.
were for Benny too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh my gosh,
So like,
congratulations.
thank you. I appreciate it. So things like that, where it's like me realizing like, okay, I got the talent to really be like, I could really be a platinum selling producer on top of a platinum selling artist, on top of a platinum selling songwriter. And I do all of these things. I feel like even now more so when I'm actually got my foot in the door in the industry is really to show these people like, yo, I'm really him. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like if I was to just focus just straight on my artistry, a lot of those things would get kind of overshadowed. So I'm going to continue to just, and even use this opportunity, like with these record deals and stuff, is to give me more opportunities. They got Hitmaker at Empire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Hitmaker been on
yeah.
fire. So it's like they
Wow.
got so many like just the opportunity and just me. Okay, my artistry, me as Young World got me signed to Empire, but as a songwriter, what can I do with that? Just more than just, more than just dropping my album at Empire. What other things can I get from that? I might get some acting gigs, get some placements on some movies and things like that. So songwriting
Okay.
gigs. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
I'm always looking to be like, yo, let me get some of that. Let me get some of that. Let me touch that. Like who in the studio? I might be at
Yes.
Empire record my album and be like, yo, who in the next studio? And be like, oh, we got Blue over there, Young Blue over there. I bet let me go work with him. And next thing you know, I got a, platinum record with Blue that I produced or I wrote and things like that. So I'm always looking like reading the room and being like, all right, where can I get in where I fit in?
Now let's talk about the new music.
Yeah.
I know you're preparing to release an album soon. Can we get like any information on that? What can we expect?
My projects, I like to get personal and tell my story and like let people know really what's going on. I don't like to fabricate things. Like, of course, I'm gonna give you vibes and you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have fun, you're gonna listen to it in the club and be turning up and things like that. But if you really listen to the lyrics, there's always gems in there, there's always jewels in there I'm dropping. That's like you pay attention to it, you catch them. But even with the name Blue itself, my new album is gonna be, about it's that mood. Like when you think about blue, you kind of put you in a certain mood. Not necessarily sad all the time either. You know what I'm saying? There's different shades of blue. It's associated with happiness as well. But these are all emotions that I'm talking about on this album and taking you through a lot of different experiences and kind of like emotions that I've dealt with in recent times. You know what I'm saying? I've lost some people really close to me. You know what I'm saying? I've had some major, major wins. The best wins that I've had so far in my career have all come within the same year. So it's kind of like a lot of back and forth with like these emotions, you know what I'm saying? Even in, relationships, romantically and things like that. So I'm really telling people really what it is, who is Young World, because it's kind of like an introductory album for me, where it's like people really gonna pay attention, be like, all right, he got to deal with Empire. This is like on a more high level, kind of like, you know what I'm saying? This is an industry deal for it. This is a major deal. So this is really kind of like yo, I'm Young World, nice to meet y'all. And then we get,
which emotion are you most excited about to show your fans that you experienced recently?
You said which emotion?
Yeah, like because you saying you experience it's all different types of bluish shades. Like which like records that hit a certain emotion that you're looking forward to sharing.
So like right off the bat, like my intro to Blue, I'm talking about everything that I just said, like every emotion that you about to get into with this album. I'm talking about it all in one song on the intro. So it kind of takes you through like a roller coaster. Like, oh, where he got the deal? Oh, this happened too. Man, that happened too. But then he prevailed and got this. So I think strength, if that's an attribute, not really an emotion. But like I think that's one of the important things that I'm kind of like emphasizing on this album because like even mentally, you know what I'm saying? Anxiety is something that I've always dealt with my entire life. That's just kind of something that people can be born with and things like that. But it kind of reached like a new level with the whole pandemic thing, and situations happening that it was just a lot. I'm moving from my hometown that I've been in for 23, 24 years and moving to a whole nother state, you know what I'm saying, to get my career jumping and things like that. A lot of ups and downs that I've been through with my career so far, losing people and you know what I'm saying, taking a lot of losses and sacrifices that I've had to make, but being able to prevail through those things. And, you know what I'm saying, even like I talk about getting counseling and going through therapy and things like that with my anxiety and PTSD, you know what I'm saying? And like things like that I've never really spoken about, you know what I'm saying, before. These are usually emotions I keep bottled up or I'll make records about it to get it out. and just keep it in my hard drive. Like I don't really, you
Wow.
know what I'm saying? But it's like I'm
Because yeah,
making
you
it a
said you're
point.
not a people's person, but it's just like you're showing it in this album for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So like
Are you?
I'm
Mm,
it's like it's hard, but it's like I feel like this is something I've come to realization that I kind of need to do. As I was talking about the responsibility
yeah.
as artists before, because I'm like, you know, battling that anxiety thing that kind of like that bout that I fought with anxiety last year was kind of like it really opened my eyes to like how much people I can actually relate to. Like it was a point in time where I'm like, yo, like I'm bugging. Like in my own head, I'm like, yo, I feel like I'm the only person. Don't nobody know what I'm thinking. Don't nobody know what I'm going through mentally, what
Mhm.
I'm really like, trying to get through mentally. But it's like when I started to learn more about it and things like that, and just kind of go through the motions with it, I started figuring out there's a lot of people that can relate to this. And I feel like me being someone of influence, you know what I'm saying, with a certain platform, I think it's important to talk about these things because there's probably a lot of people who felt the exact same way, like helpless, where you feel like I'm the only one going through this, can't nobody help me. But if you can hear from Young World, like, oh, he went through that and look at where he at, or I love his music and he's able to talk about it. Imagine what I could do.
So can we expect Blue this year? Like what's like the deadline? Or what's the first record off of it? Single, I
So
mean.
to be honest, I don't know what's the first single.
Okay,
Definitely Blue coming out this year, though. Definitely Blue coming out this year. If I had to guess, I would say probably fall time. Summertime's already here, but I would say like fall time ish, maybe winter time, where we back on road. I know we starting back on tour. I'm going back on tour with Benny in October.
What sign did God give you to keep on pursuing music?
I feel like he gives me signs all the time. He gives me signs all the time. And whether it's battles that he puts in my life, what I'm saying? I'm a firm believer in that. And I said this in one of my songs that God will never give you more than he can bear. And which anybody that, true believers and everything, they know that, they know that to be true. So I'm a firm believer in that. And the things that I've experienced is the things that I've gone through so far, what I'm saying? It kind of molded me to be the person that I am today and will mold me to be the person that I will be, for years to come. So it's like, instead of a lot of times I used to think like, man, like, do I got to take a lot of L's just to win a little bit? You know what I'm saying? And it was getting kind of like overwhelming, but it's really like I started to learn and really just stay prayed up about, what I'm saying, that this is all in good faith and that nothing is meant to destroy you. Everything is meant to make you a better person at the end of the day. So for real, just like keeping that in mind all the time, I feel like God sent me signs all the time, whether it's days where I'll be like, man, I don't even feel like rapping right now. But it's like, but he's blessed me with the talent to be able, I don't have to rap. I can make a beat. I can write a song for somebody else to get the same emotions out, to get the same feeling from the music that I need. But I just don't feel like necessarily saying it myself today or things like that. So,
And to close out, why should we stay on Young World?
you should stay on Young World because a lot of people need that inspiration. A lot of people need that motivation, and Young World brings that. And Young World is you. I always tell people, I'm young. What's my tagline? I be saying, like, I came up with this a couple of years ago, just chatting with my friends. It was like, one of them was I'm Young World and you are too, but the other one was it's your world. I'm just living in it. You know what I'm saying? So really all that is to say is that I'm just like everybody else. I feel like a lot of people put like artists at like the certain like pedestal and like treat them like they're not human beings. Like I'm a human being. I'm as human as it gets, and I'm not afraid to admit any of that, even in my music. So you should stay on Young World because I'm you. You know what I'm saying? And I might be able to say things a way that you might not be able to get it across, or make you feel a way that you need to feel. So yeah, people need
Yeah.
that.
I appreciate you so much. I hope we get to meet soon. Like I said, in
Likewise.
person. Yeah, but this is amazing. Thank you again for doing this, and we're tuning out.
All right. Thank you for
Okay.
having me.